Hello everyone. Today we are going to start about obstetrics. So first of all, what we should know that is what is gametogenesis. So first of all, what is required? If you see, gametogenesis means what? So what is it? It is a process by which diploid or haploid cells undergo cells division and differentiation to form the mature haploid gametes. So first of all, what we know that so there are gametogenesis. It occurs by meiotic division, diploid gametocytes into various gametes, or by mitotic division of haploid gametogenous cells. The existence of a multicellular and haploid phase in the life cycle between meiosis and gametogenesis is also referred to as an alternation of the generation. So, but basic thing, what we are going to see simply, what is it? In simple language, it is the process of gamete formation. That what we can remember over here. So it occurs in the gonads. That is definitely it occurs in the ovary or in the testes. So it is basically it is divided into four phases. That is extragonadal origin from the primordial germ cells. Then the second, that is proliferation of the germ cells by mitosis. Then third, that is meiosis, and fourth, that is the structural and functional maturation of the ova and the spermatozoa. That is what we are going to see. So the gonal cells are the designation given to germ cells before they enter into meiosis, replicate mitotically and genetically identical to the original zygote. And when they begin meiosis, they are called as a spermatocytes and oocytes. So I directly start with that of the spermatogenesis. Spermatogenesis, that is the formation of the sperm. So what we see that formation of the sperm, it is a process of formation of the male germ cells, that is sperm formation. Where it occurs in the seminiferous tubules of the testes, and how it looks like, it is a thread-like shape. That is what we know that in the spermatogenesis. Then there are a number of stages that which goes in, but in short, what we can remember over here, that is the spermatogonia. Then it is the primary spermatocyte. Then from primary spermatocyte, the first meiotic division takes place, and the first meiotic division, then it leads to the secondary spermatocyte, and from the secondary spermatocyte, again the second meiotic division takes place, and from which the four spermatodes are formed, and from the four spermatodes, the four spermatozoa were formed. So that we can remember over here: spermatogonia, primary spermatocyte, secondary spermatocyte, spermatids, and spermatozoa. And for this hormone division, here it is the first meiotic division and the second meiotic division that we can remember here. Then, in the same fashion, uh, we can think about the oogenesis. Oogenesis, what is it? It is the process of formation of the female germ cells, that is egg formation. And where it happens? It happens in the ovary. And how it is? It is the spherical in shape. So what is we can see in this diagram? In the same fashion, there is a spermatogonium. Over here, it is the oogonium. From this, there is a mitosis division, and this is the ovary. So many ovulia, and from this before or after birth, uh, that is the growth and differentiation. Primary spermatocytes, from primary spermatocytes, it leads forms the secondary spermatocyte, and here it is the uh, first polar body which is formed, and then ovulation takes place, fertilization takes place, and from that the ovum, it is released, formed, and there is a second polar body that is also degenerates. Over here, meiosis first, over here, meiosis second. That what we see in this. That is what is the formation of spermatogenesis and formation of the oogenesis, that what we have seen. So next, what we are going to continue about the fertilization and implantation. So what is the fertilization? That what we have seen in the previous previously, that is the what is the gametogenesis, that is the spermatogenesis, and the oogenesis, that is how the sperm it is formed and how the ovum it is formed. Then what happened? Ovulation takes place, and after ovulation, when the sperm unites together to that of ovum, that is called as a fertilization. But how this process takes place? So this is anatomy of the sperm, that is, you know it previously, that is head, mid part, piece of it, and it is last part, it is the tail at the end piece. So this is the follicle cell of corona radiata, ovum, anatomy of the ovum, that is cytoplasm, nucleus, then the vitelline membrane, zona pellucida, this part, it is the zona pellucida. So what is fertilization? What is it? It is the process of fusion of the spermatozoon with the mature ovum, and it begins with sperm and egg collision and ends with the production of mononucleated single cell, that is called as a zygote. And almost always fertilization occurs in the ambulatory portion of the fallopian tube. Where it occurs, it is in the fallopian tubes, that is in the ambulatory portion. So see in this. So it is a male sperm, female egg unites, and it leads to the zygote. And from this zygote forms the embryo, and this embryo leads to formation of the baby, the fetus. Afterwards, after birth, it is called as a neonate. So what is approximation of gametes? That is the ovum immediately following ovulation. It is picked by the tubal fimbriae, which partly envelop the ovary, especially at the time of ovulation. And the pickup action might be muscular or by kind of some suction by ciliary action or by a positive chemotaxis exerted by the tubal secretion. So that may be the reason, that is how this ovum it is get captured. Same is this ovary, it is covered by this fimbriae, and ovum, it is released, it is captured by this fimbriae. It goes, and whatever we are seeing over here, the sperm, which is coming over here, they unite together, form here fusion of this sperm and ovum, and formation of zygote. That is what you see in this. So it is zygote, then first cell division, 8 cells, I think 4 cell stage, 8 cell stage, and 16 stage, it is called as a morula. And this after this vacillative movement, it is get this is called as a blastocyst, and this is get implanted in the inner layer. It is on the endometrium. This is endometrium there. In middle one, it is the myometrium, and outside it is the perimetrium, and it is get implanted, and implantation afterwards it is followed by the embryo development. So the ovum is rapidly transported to the ambulatory part. Fertilizable lifespan of oocyte ranges, and how much lifespan of the oocyte? It is from 12 to 24 hours, whereas that of sperm it is 48 to 72 hours. So this may be sometimes the question may be how much, what is the lifespan of the oocyte? So it is about 12 to 24 hours. And how much lifespan about the sperm? It is 48 to 72 hours. Out of hundred of millions of sperm, there are millions of sperm deposited in the vagina at single ejaculation. And out of that million of sperms, only 1,000 which has a capacitated spermatozoa, which enters into the fallopian tube, in the uterine tube. While only out of that 300 to 500 reach the ovum. So see, from million it gets downward to that of 1,000, and from 1,000 to there are only 300 to 500 spermatozoa which are able to reach up to the ovum. And if in that situation up to the, because ovum remains up to the only 12 to 24 hours after the when it comes out. So what is important for the fertilization, the time duration, the sperm should unite in this time period only. So the tubal transport is facilitated by muscular contraction and the aspiration action of the uterine tube. So after whatever we are seeing in this diagram, so this is how it reaches from here to here. That is what we are from fallopian tubes to ambulatory part to that of uterus level inside of it. So it is the action which takes place at the moment, which takes place over here. So it leads to the movement of this zygote to the 4 cell stage to 8 cell to that over here. So that is the action. So how it reaches over there. So by it is facilitated by muscular contraction and aspiration action of the uterine tube. So this is there are 300 to 500 spermatozoa out of only one single which is able to unite with that of ovum. So contact and fusion of the gametes. So complete dissolution of the cells of the corona radiata occurs by the whatever the chemical actions that is hyaluronidase liberated from the acrosomal cap of the hundreds of sperm which are present at the site. And the penetration of zona pellucida is facilitated by the hyaluronidase from the acrosomal cap. Soon after the sperm fusion, penetration of other sperm is prevented. Only one single sperm it is done by Zona reaction and polema block. So that is how it is only single. And then see just how the sperm enters inside of the ovum and the action which takes place. So it is the process of fertilization, that is chemoattraction, release of acrosomal enzymes, so binding of sperm to extracellular envelopes, and the passage through the extracellular envelopes and fusion of sperm and the that is the female pronuclea which are present. Egg pronuclea leads to the formation of fertilization. So when does the life begin? So that is the 46 chromosomes of male and the 46 chromosomes of the female. So 23 of this and 23 of this. So 23 plus 23, 46, that is new human. So whatever every human cell has the 46 chromosomes except the sperm and the egg. So sex of the child is determined by the pattern of 6 chromosomes of the spermatogen. If spermatogen contains the X, that is female embryo, and if it is contains the Y, that is a male embryo. Morula. After the zygote formation, typical mitotic division. Typical mitotic division of segmentation nucleus occurs producing 2 blastomeres. The 2-cell stage is reached approximately 30 hours after the fertilization. And the blastomeres continue to divide by binary division to the 4, 6, 8 cell stage until a cluster of cells is formed that is called as a morula, that is 16 cell stage, resembling like a mulberry. And by the 4th day, it forms a 16 to 64 cell stage. That is after 4th day. See this is whatever the changes. This is initially 2 cell, now it is multiple cell stage. Then blastocyst. While the morula remains free in the uterine cavity on the 4th and 5th day, the fluid passes through the canalicula of the zona pellucida, which separates the cells of morula and is now termed as a blastocyst. That is after 5th day. And zona hatching is next step so that the trophotoderm cells interact with the endometrial cells and implantation occurs. So how it is? This whatever the blastocyst, it gets attached to that of the endometrial cells, that is called as a implantation. And there is a trophoectoderm cells interaction which takes place. See what we are saying this blastocyst, when zygote divides to 32 cells, it becomes known as a blastocyst. This is 36 cells. And this is the wall which is present literally inside. So implantation Or second synonym, it is the nidation, or third, it is the nesting. Keywords are there, all meaning the same: implantation, nidation, and the nesting. So implantation occurs in the endometrium of the, where it occurs, the position as we know that in the fundus part of the uterus. Where it is, it may be in the anterior or posterior wall of the uterus. And when it occurs, so it is on the 20th day of menstrual cycle. Because what we have seen, it requires 5 days, and for the ovulation hormone it requires 14. So 14 plus this 14 plus this 5 to 6 days, that is total 28 days. That is of regular menstrual cycle. So if implantation occurs through 4 stages, that is the apposition, adhesion, penetration, and invasion. So second, I'll remember it. The name, it may be implantation, it may be nidation, or it may be nesting. Whatever this implantation process is, and it started on the 20th and completed by the means from the menstrual cycle, it is on the 20th day. But from ovulation, from the fertilization to that of implantation, it requires 6 days, and the completion, it requires total 11 days. So this type of deeper penetration of human blastocyst is called as a implantation. Now the blastocyst covered all sides by the endometrium. And as we know that the inner layer of uterus, normally in non-pregnant state, it is called as an endometrium. While in pregnancy, it is called as a deciduum. What is the difference? The thickness of endometrium, that is in the non-pregnant state, it is less. But while in case during the pregnancy, it is become up to 10 mm. That is called as a decidua. So this is how the blastocyst is implanted over here in the decidua. That is in pregnancy, we call it as a decidua. So this is the female gamete, that is ovum, and the male gamete, that is the sperm. So blastocyst begins to that is collapse. And what is the changes that takes place on the day 15? The primitive strip can be seen on the left side. This is the primitive strip which has started. And from the day 17, the primitive strip can still be seen, and the opposite end of the embryo is starting to fold up. So this is opposite end, which is starting to fold. And this is the primitive strip which has taken place on the day 17. While slowly, the day 19, the whatever the neural tube is seen along with somites on either side of it. So this is what is called as a neural tube. So from it afterwards the central nervous system form. So somites is the zipper-like motion of the neural tube closing together. 3 pairs of small bumps form on either side of the closure. They will form the skeleton and the major muscles of the body. 38 pairs of somites will line the neural tube within 22 days. So that is what you see, that it is the neural groove which is we are seeing it. So there are somites which are formed over here. So the small somites, and this is from here the future brain is going to be developed. So slowly, there are some from this. This is future brain. On day 24, see the brain part. Slowly, how it is there. Then day 26, the brain part. And slowly the part is developed. Brain part is stage of 13 human embryo, approximately it is 28 days, 0.5 mm. You see that. And this is the pharyngeal arches which are developing from here. This is the brain part. And this is the neural tube forming. And here it is the yolk sac. And here it is connected to the ear. So this is 5-week embryo. This is brain part of it. Brain part of it. This is the exact how it is connected. Then a 4-week embryo. After the cluster of cells attaches to the womb, it is called an embryo. The embryo is between 1 by 100 and 4 by 100 inch long at this time. The embryo continues rapid growth. So, 4 weeks embryo. After the cluster of cells attaches to the womb, it is called as embryo. That is what we are saying. So, just see in that one, revision again. So, this is the future brain, then first neural groove, then future brain, then somites. See, somites, that is zipper-like motion of the neural tube closing together, and 3 pairs of small buds from on either side of the closure. They will form the skeleton and the major muscles of the body. 38 pairs of somites will line the neural tube within 2 weeks. Then it will day 24, then 22, day 22, day 24, then 26, 28, then 5 weeks, 5 weeks 4-day embryo, then 4 weeks embryo, then 8 weeks embryo. See in that the embryo, it is about ½ inch long. The heart now has 4 chambers here. The heart now has 4 chambers in 8 weeks. Fingers and toes begins to form over here. The fingers and the toes begins to form. And the reflex activities begin as the brain and nervous system develop. Cells begin to form the eye. See in this we are able to see the eye development. Ears, jaw, lungs, stomach, intestine, and the liver. So at 10 weeks, the embryo is about 1/4 inches long. The head is about half the length. This is head development, and weighs less than ½ ounce. The beginning of all key body parts are present, but they are not completed. Structures that will form eyes, ears, arms, and legs can be seen. Muscles and skeleton are developing, and the nervous system becomes more responsive over here. This is 10 weeks embryo. Then 12 weeks. So here the length, that is about 2.5 inch long and weighs about ½ ounce. The fingers and toes are distinct and have nails. See here fingers and toes, and starting with that of legs. Hair begins to develop, but won't be seen until later in the pregnancy. The fetus begins small and random movements to slide to the bed, not that much. The fetal heartbeat can be detected within a heart monitor, that is the unit ultrasonography. All major external body features have appeared. Muscles continue to develop. So body features now start. Now see this is the fetus is about in the 11. This one, the fetus is about 3.5 inch long and weighs about 1.5 ounces. It is wet, it is in the ounce, and the length it is long, it is in inches. The fetus begins to swallow, the kidneys make urine, and the blood begins to form in the bone marrow. So, in joints and muscles allow full body movement. There are eyelids and the nose is developing a bridge. External generators are developing. So this is the hand and the fetus foot of the fetus. So now 18 weeks. In 18 weeks, the fetus is about 5.5 inches. Weight is about 7 ounces. The skin is pink, transparent, and the ears are clearly visible. So this is the ears. We are able to see the visible. All the body and facial features are now recognizable. The fetus can grasp and move its mouth. Nails begin to grow. The fetus has begun to speak. Some women feel this movement at the 18 weeks. Now 20 weeks, the length it is 6.5 inches long and weighs about 11.5 ounces. All organs and structures are formed. The skin is wrinkled and pink to reddish in color, thin and close to the blood vessels. So it is protecting skin protein vernix begins to develop. That is called as the vernix. Means vernix is begins to develop. Respiratory movements often lungs have not developed enough for survival outside the fetus. So at up to the 28 weeks, it does not survive. Up 22 weeks, it can. By this time, mothers usually feel the fetus moving. At this time, an ultrasound can often identify the sex of the fetus. 22 weeks, the fetus is about 7.5 inches long, weighs about 1 pound. It has fingerprints and some head and body hairs. That's what we are saying. It will suck its thumb and is more active. The brain is growing very rapidly at this stage, and the fetal heartbeat can be easily heard. And in rest, the kidneys start to work. That is, at 23 weeks, approximately 31% of the babies born survive. Babies born at this age require intensive care and usually have lifelong disabilities and chronic health conditions. But they can. 24 weeks. The fetus is about 1/4 inches long and about weight 1.14 pounds. Bones of the ears harden, making sound connection possible. Here, the fetus hears mother sounds such as breathing, heartbeat, and words. The first layers of fat are beginning to form in this, and this is the beginning of substantial weight gain of the fetus. So at this weight gain of the fetus starts. So lungs continue developing, and at 25 weeks, approximately 68% of the babies born survive. Percentage wise, if you say that. Babies born at this stage requires intensive care and usually have a lifelong disability and chronic disease, chronic conditions which can, chronic health conditions can be present. Now, this is 26 weeks, so near about 6.5 months pregnancy. So the fetus is about 9 inches long and weighs 2 pounds. The fetus can respond to sound from both inside and outside of the womb. So that is, reflex movements continue to develop and body movements can be fed by the mother. That is at the second trimester. Lungs continue to develop. The fetus now wax and flake. The skin is slightly wrinkled. At 27 weeks, the percentage of the survival it is about 87%. So babies born at this age require again same intensive care unit and whatever it then the high risk of the delays and the chronic health problems can be there. That is what we say in the previous chronic health condition. Then at 28 weeks, the fetus is about 10 inches long and weighs about 2 pounds and ounces, 3 ounces. And at this stage, mouth it is formed. And what you see, this is the umbilical cord system. And whatever the structure which is present over here, it is the Wharton's jelly. And the eyes are partially open can perceive the light. So it is about more than 90% of babies born at this age will survive. Some survivors have developmental delays and chronic health conditions. And this is 30 weeks. It is 10.5 inches long, 3 pounds, lungs are capable breathing, and all the medical help may be needed. The fetus can open and close its eyes, suck in its thumb, cry, and respond to sound. And the skin is smooth, rhythmic breathing, and body temperature are now controlled by the brain. Here, body temperature is controlled by the brain. And most babies born at this stage will survive. And the 32 weeks. The fetus is about 11 inches, then weight it is about 3 pounds, 12 ounces. there is a connection between the nerve cells and the brain. Nerve cells in the brain, it is increases fetal development now centers on growth. Almost all babies born at this age will survive. So this is good development has to take place up to the age of 32 weeks. Then 34 weeks, then the length it is increases to 12 inches. Then weight it is 4.5 pounds. Then ear begins to hold the shape. Now shape it is started. And eyes open during alert times and close during the sleep. Almost all babies born at this stage is survive. This 36 weeks, placenta. The fetus is about 12 to 13 inches long and weighs 5 and 6 pounds. Scalp hair is silky. Here, the hairs are silky and lies against the head. Muscle tone has developed and the fetus can turn and lift the head on its own. Almost all babies born definitely going to survive. And this 38 weeks, this is umbilical cord. Ears are, the fetus is about 13 and a half and 14 inches long and weighs about 6.5 pounds. Lungs are usually mature in this. The fetus can grasp firmly. The fetus turns towards the light sources and almost all babies born at this age have survived. And this is last, that is newborn. That is what we know that 40 weeks. Inch, that is 18 to 20 inch, weight it is 7.5, that is between 1.5 to 3 kg. At the time of birth, the baby has more than 70 reflexes behaviors, which are automatic behaviors necessary for the survival. And this is a full term baby. See, skin is pink color, lengthwise it is 18 to 20 inches. There is a good movement of the hand are flexed. Reflexes are good. So that is what we see that. So in the Apgar score, it is up to the 10. So that is the sign of the newborn, healthy newborn. That is what we see over here. So in short, if we see the summary, so this is the first period period of dividing zygote implantation and laminar embryo. So this is the stages 2 cell, then the 16 cell, then the blastocyst implantation, not susceptible to teratogens. Then it is development, implantation takes place. Then initially CNS, then heart, then additionally the how the development eyes, then limbs are slowly progressing, then ears, then teeth are starting, then palate, ears are developing, then on fetal period, that is age of embryo in weeks, up to this one, 10 weeks. Then fetal period in weeks, that is 9. Brain is developing properly, external genitalia has started developing over here. Then fetal period in weeks, that is 20 to 36, proper central nervous system developed. 38, that is the full term, up to 40 weeks. So in this central nervous system, here it is the heart completed, upper limbs, eyes, here means limbs, then teeth, palate, external genitalia, ear. So that is major congenital anomalies that is which can take place here. That is red indicates. This is prenatal death. If death occurs, this is the major congenital anomalies, and the functional defects, minor congenital anomalies. That is what we say in the yellow color. So that is what we have seen, the concept of what is the what is gametogenesis, what is fertilization, what is implantation, and how the development of the embryo which takes place. Thank you.